Good morning, welcome in to another installment of Your Life Matters with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling. Good morning, welcome in to another installment of Your Life Matters with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling
and Dr. Beth Speaks.
And we welcome Dr. Beth to the studios again. Good morning, Doctor.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Not bad. How are things?
I'm good
And
in
we
this
welcome
May
Dr.
Day.
Beth to the studios
May
again.
Day.
Good
We're in the
morning,
middle of
Doctor.
May,
Which
Mike,
is
how
Mental
are you?
Health
Not
Month.
bad. How are
And
things?
last
I'm
week
good in this
hit
May
on
Day.
some mental
It is
health
another
hacks.
May
That's
Day.
kind of
We're
our
in the middle
theme
of
for the
May,
month to
which
get
is
people
Mental
feeling
Health
better
Month.
as we
And,
focus
last
on
week we
this
hit
particular
on
month.
some
Of course, it's
mental
good
health
all year
hacks.
long.
That's kind of our theme
where do
for
we
the
go
month
with
to
today's
get
show?
people
Well, today we're
feeling
talking
better
about
as we
how
focus on
relationships
this
help our
particular
mental
month.
health.
Of course, it's good
You know,
all
there's a
year
real
long.
old song that
Where
said,
do we
"Love
go
the
with
one you're
today's
with."
show?
And
Well, today we're talking
ultimately,
about
what we
how
need to do is
relationships
love
help
the
our mental
people we're
health.
with.
You know,
There's
now,
a real old
some
song
people
that
are
said, "Love the
surprised
one
when
you're with."
I don't
And
necessarily mean
ultimately,
like the
what we
people
need to
you're
do
with,
is
because we
love
don't always.
the people we're with.
But love means
Now,
that we want
some people
what's
are
best
surprised
for
when
somebody else.
I don't necessarily mean
Studies
like
have
the
shown,
people
Mike,
you're with, because
that
we don't always.
if somebody counts
but
on you,
love means that we
if,
want,
like, for
what's best
example,
for
if
somebody
they
else.
need you to survive,
Studies
or
have shown,
need you to
Mike,
have a better
that,
life.
if somebody
and
counts
they
on
matter
you,
to you and you matter
if,
to them,
like, for example,
both
if they
people
need
live
you to
longer,
survive,
or
happier
need you to have a better
lives,
life,
because they have a
and
purpose.
they
And
matter
something
to
that's
you and you
important,
matter to them.
you know, beyond
both
just
people
collecting
live
things.
longer,
Happier
So,
lives. Because they have a
we learn a
purpose
lot
in
in
something that's
relationships.
important.
I'm
you know,
guessing that you
beyond
probably
just
have. I know I
collecting
have.
things.
But if we spell it out,
So,
you know, it's
we learn a
important
lot
that
in
people
relationships. I mean,
know us all
I'm
the way
guessing
to
that
the
you
core.
probably have. I know
Our
I
weird
have.
quirks, But if
And
we
accept
spell
us
it out,
anyway.
you know, it's
And
important that
we
people
find out in
know us
relationships
all
that
the
our
way to the
presence
core. Our weird
gives
quirks
safety
and
to somebody
accept us
else.
anyway.
When we talk about
And
safety and mental
we
health, we're
find out
talking
in
about
relationships that our presence
and the ability to
gives safety to somebody
interact
else.
safely. Well,
When we
safely,
talk about
repeating
safety and
it.
mental health, we're
But you
talking
know
about,
that gives us good mental health.
and
We
the
can
ability to
interact freely,
to interact safely. Well,
The other
safely,
thing we learn
repeating
is
it.
through intergenerational
But you know that gives us good
experiences,
mental health. We
you
can
know,
interact freely.
I can't tell you how many of my former
The other
students
thing
have
we
shown me
learn
how to
is
use
through
one aspect of some
intergenerational
app on my phone,
experiences.
Right.
You know, and how grandparents learn
I can't
something
tell you how many of
technological
my
from their
former
kids, and
students showed me how to
grandkids learn
use
about
one
games
aspect of
and
some app on my
parents
phone.
are,
Right.
you know,
Relieved
and
that
how
break
grandparents learn
that
something
they
technological
need,
from
you
their
know, that
kids,
there
and
is
grandkids
no
learn
right
about
way to do it.
games, and
It's a good way
and
to do
parents
it.
are relieved to have that break.
So
that
we also learn
they
a lot.
need.
You know,
we
that
have
there
to
is
change
no
roles.
right way to do it. It's a
when
good
we're in
way to do it.
relationships. Like,
Can't always be right.
so we also
find
learn
that
a
out.
lot.
We
And we have to
apologize.
change roles.
But we also, like
When
when you
we're
have
in
siblings,
relationships, like,
you have to learn to be assertive.
Can't
It's
always
my
be right.
turn, We find
you know.
that out. We
And
apologize.
we don't learn that with strangers.
But we also, like when you have
Um,
siblings,
it's
you
hard
have to learn to be
sometimes to
assertive.
accept
It's
authority,
my
especially
turn,
when you're like
you know.
15,
And we
16,
don't
and
learn
your
that
parents
with
are still
strangers.
telling you no.
And then
It's hard sometimes
find
to
out what
accept
it's like to
authority,
become the
especially when you're like
authority and
15,
ask for
16,
help
and your parents
and
are still
provide
telling you
help.
no.
You suddenly learn how the roles change.
Oh,
like
yeah,
just
it's
5, 10 years later.
Ask
I
for
know, it's
help
amazing how
and
sometimes
provide
they
help.
start making
You
sense.
suddenly learn
But
how
we
the
have to
roles
do without
change.
things,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
and
it's
5,
sacrifice.
10 years later.
The
Yeah,
other
I know,
day,
it's amazing
one of
how
the kids at the
sometimes
house
they start
said,
making sense.
"Did you want
But
the
we
rest
have
of
to
my
do
tea
without
her
things,
sister?"
you
She
know,
goes,
and
"I spilled
sacrifice.
and there's none left
The
for you,
other
so
day,
you can have
one of
mine."
the
And I
kids
thought
at
that
the
was so
house
sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Did you want the rest
So we
of my
have
tea
to we
her
have to learn to
sister?
take
She
care of
goes, "I
ourselves.
spilled and there's
All
none
of
left for you,
that
so
is
you can
that
have mine."
self-efficacy
And I thought it was so
that
sweet.
Yeah,
we
that's
talked about
nice.
in the
Yeah.
past.
So we have to learn to take care of ourselves. And now,
All of that
Mike, I'm
is
sure
that
you've seen strangers at the
self-efficacy that I've
grocery store.
talked about in the
All the time.
past.
Has any one of them ever corrected you?
No,
That
Mike, I'm
does
sure you've
not
seen strangers
usually,
at the grocery
no.
store.
No, usually, I
All
mean,
the
they might
time.
roll their
Has
eyes,
anyone
they
of them
might.
ever
Or
corrected you?
laugh as they walk away.
Right,
that
right,
does
but
not
you know,
usually, no.
That's a
No,
passing,
usually, I mean, they might
we
roll
don't
their
even
eyes, they
exist
might.
in their
Or
lives, and
laugh
that's
as they
fine.
walk away.
Can't exist
Right, right,
in
but you know,
everybody's life.
that's a
But in
passing. We
relationships,
don't even exist
we
really
are
in our
held
lives, and that's
accountable.
fine.
We get
can't
to be
exist
self-aware,
in everybody's life.
self-reflective. We
But
get
in
to grow.
relationships,
And those
we are
things
held
really help our
accountable.
mental health.
We get to be self-aware,
I keep talking about
self-reflective.
people.
We get to grow.
But I don't know
And
about anybody
those
else or any
things
of our
really
listeners,
help our
but you know,
mental
there's a
health.
special part of the family that's
I keep talking
often
about
furry
people.
and four-legged.
Yes.
but I don't know
Sometimes
about
finned
anybody
and-
else
and
or any of
wet.
our listeners, but you know, there's a special part of the family
Those
that's
our pets
often furry and
huge
four-legged.
Yes.
keeping us
sometimes
safely
finned
healthy.
and wet.
That unconditional acceptance
Those
that they have there for
pets
us.
Yeah.
are
That they're
huge
always
in
there.
keeping us mentally healthy.
When we would take our
That
dogs to the
unconditional
groomers,
acceptance that they have
so they'd be
for
gone for a
us.
little
Yeah.
while. When you
that
come in,
they're
even though
always
they
there,
had been sleeping
you know,
anyway, when we would take
you
our
could tell
dogs
they
to
were
the
gone because
groomers,
it was
so
quieter.
they'd be
Yeah.
gone for a little
Just
while.
their heartbeat
You come
wasn't
in,
there.
even though they had been
It's nice
sleeping
when
anyway.
they are away
could
for a
tell
little
they
bit,
were
gives you a
gone
bit of a
because
break. They can be
it was
kind of a
quieter.
pain Yeah. sometimes.
Just their
but, oh
heartbeat
my
wasn't
goodness,
there.
when you walk in the
It's
door,
nice
and they
when they
constantly
are
run up to
away
you
for a
and
little
they're
bit,
so
gives you a bit
happy
of
to
a
see
break.
you.
They can
It's
be
just
kind of a
And you
pain
did nothing
sometimes,
except
but,
exist.
oh my goodness,
Except
I just
exist.
walked out to get the mail.
Constantly
Only
run up
gone
to
30
you, and they're
seconds,
so
but
happy to
yeah.
see you. It's just a,
And
So
you
those
did nothing
relationships
except
that
Right.
exist.
with
except
dogs
I just
or
walked
with
out to get the
pets
mail.
or with people, what
Only
they
gone
help us
30
do is not
seconds, but
focus
yeah,
so
it's
much on
just very
ourselves
nice.
So those
being more
relationships,
general
though, with
helps keep
dogs
us
or
mentally
with
healthy.
pets and with
Because
people,
our
what
life's
they
better.
actually
We
help
gotta
us do
do
is
these
not
things.
focus so much on
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Some good
And
advice,
being more
and
general
there's more that
helps
we
keep us
probably
mentally
could have
healthy.
gotten to. We
Because
could
our
go
life's
on
better. We
another
gotta
20
do these
minutes.
things.
There's more resources too if you'd like to dive into this topic more that we probably could have gotten to. We could go on another 20 minutes. You can contact them. Resources too if you'd like to dive